ended on.
So now, is this when they're at their best? It's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes to Auckland, New Zealand.
What he loves to be immortality as an athlete, 19.79. It's a goal, it's 8 goals.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human trafficker.
Is this when they're at their best? It's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Still goes to Auckland, New Zealand.
What he loves to be immortality as an athlete, 19.79. It's a goal, it's 8 goals.
Welcome back as the Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, let's start the show this evening with badminton. But before we do that, of course, I have to introduce my guest. Of course, you know him very well. Emmanuel Michael, good evening to you and welcome to Sports Extraordinary.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right, let's quickly take a look at badminton. Nigerian reigning para badminton champion Bolaji Eniola won 3 gold medals at the just completed first EGTV Para Badminton International Tournament in Cairo. Eniola won the gold medals in the singles, doubles, and mixed doubles. She beat Andrea Spinetti Avila of Brazil 2-0 to emerge champion for the women's single before she joined Chigozie Jeremiah to defeat Jaga Desha Dili and was former the Marco 2-0. men's doubles event. In the women's doubles final, Nigerians pair of Eniola and Chinyere Okoro won gold against Rosa Ofomo DiMarco and Diana Lizette Leon. 21 to 19, 16 21, 21 to 13. The other event, Nigeria's gold medals men's single hopeful Chigozie Jeremiah lost narrowly to Marcel Adam after a tough 21 to 19, 13 to 31, 31 to 15 defeat. Of course, as he settled for the silver medal, Badminton Federation President Francis Obi, who was ecstatic, hailed the young athlete whose dedication, resilience, and determination to succeed opened the doors to the World Championship in Thailand will be the final chance for athletes to earn world ranking points, which counts towards qualification for the Paris 24 Paralympic Games. Qualification end on March 31st, when 120 slots will be finalized from the Badminton World Federation. World Federation race to Paris ranking. Michael, it's been an impressive one, talking about badminton in the country. And Bolaji, of course, actually put up another impressive performance this time around. I don't know what you make of badminton in the country.
I think badminton is one federation that have also, been able to live up to the billings. I think they are doing something very, very great in that regard. The way they prepare, some of our athletes, whenever they want to take part in one or two competitions out there is very massive. The positive of fun that we are hearing in other federations, I think this is one federation that we say that over the past 12 months right now, we haven't had any cry about positive of fun. I think this goes a whole long way to tell us that indeed, it takes good men and women behind, the seat of authority to be able to get something out of nothing. If other federations such as basketball, boxing, taekwondo are also complaining about positive of fun, this is one sport that we say that it's relatively unknown in this part of the world, but then they are doing something very, very great. And courtesy of their early preparation, you saw some of the athletes out there going out to perform wonders. Example is Eniola out there, who also did pretty well in this very one. I think it's a massive display for them. Let's just hope that they can also continue in this fine form going forward. But then, having said that, we need to also support them financially to also boost their morale, because after putting up such an impressive show, then you must also reward them, not just with a handshake or presidential shake out there. They also need to be rewarded financially because they have their own needs as well to cater for.
As it is, of course, we hope that the Badminton Federation will continue to honor talent, just like the likes of Eniola and the rest of them. But let's talk cricket. Nigerian national team players are ready to take part in the prestigious Uganda Elite Games, which begins in Kampala today after the Uganda Cricket Association granted 6 slots to Nigerian players to participate in the league. The Elite Games in Kampala will be played from February 1st to 4 for the women's event, while the men's game will be played between February 5th and 13th. 3 players each were endorsed by the Nigerian Cricket Federation for the male and female categories of tournaments in order to enhance the preparation for the forthcoming African Games and the NCF T20 Invitational. Isaac Ekpe, Chimeli Odekwe, and Isaac Danladi are the selected Yellow Greens players, while female Yellow Greens Drew Petty, Loki, Favor Ezegbe, and Sarah Eti will play in the women's game. Another opportunity where, of course, the cricket team of Nigeria have to showcase themselves, both the male and the female category. And I think this is just in preparation for the All-African Games that will be coming up in Ghana.
Of course, yes, and you also say yes, they've also been able to make their own mark here out here in Africa. That is why the Ugandan Cricket Authority also extended this invitational, hand to them to also, take part in that very one, because they know the quality of what the cricket team of Nigeria actually brings. So they want to also, feel that form. They want to also feel that form of professionalism from the hand or from the angle of Nigeria, and that is why they had to extend that invitation. And for me, I think all things are working together for good for them, because courtesy of this invite from the Rwandan authority, they are also using that as a warm-up towards preparing for the All-African game that is just by the corner. It is a good one for them.
Good one, of course, for the Nigerian cricket team, and we hope, of course, they continue in this impressive fashion. Away from that, let's take a look at boxing this evening, as former UFC champion Francis Ngannou is in incredible shape for his fight with Anthony Joshua, signaling his intent to make an impact in boxing. Ngannou is confident and determined to beat Joshua, even claiming he will be the one taking his soul. The fight is significant for both fighters. If Ngannou wins, he establishes himself as a threat in heavyweight boxing, while the Joshua win could lead to a fight against the winner of Usyk and Fury. Former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou looks to be in the shape of his life as he prepares for his fight with Anthony Joshua in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That is slated to take place on the 8th of March, and the former MMA superstar turned heavyweight boxer is looking absolutely shredded, signaling his intent to really make an impact within the boxing world. This will be the Cameroonian's second professional boxing fight after he controversially lost to Tyson Fury in a split decision back in October 2023. Talking about Francis Ngannou, I don't know what you make of it. Since he actually, started boxing, he's been facing heavyweight boxers. First was Tyson Fury, which he almost knocked out, and now is Anthony Joshua. Do you see, Ngannou taking down Joshua? Because he said he's going to, of course, take the soul of Anthony Joshua on that day. Talking about the 8th of March.
For me, I think it's quite laughable, but then I think he's gradually adapting to the antics of boxing, because you know what it is out there, that whenever there is this build-up to any boxing activity or any heavyweight bout, some of the boxers, they also come to the media to talk tough. These are some of the antics, and you will also say it is one of the ingredients that also spices up the boxing bout. Francis Ngannou talking tough right here. I think he's making a point for himself, because having squared up against the Gypsy King, talking about Tyson Fury in his first professional boxing, you will say that he did not do quite bad, because he actually knocked down Tyson Fury, who went down to his canvas. For me, I think it was that split decision that actually gave it to Tyson Fury. But then I feel he's a very, very strong opponent. That Joshua, I don't need to take him for granted. But one thing I just love about Anthony Joshua is that he's not this kind of fighter that will come to the media to make a whole lot of noise. He get down to the business of the day when he get to the ring. He does more of the talking on the ring than off the ring. So for me, I think it's just one of those antics from boxers out there whenever they are building up for a heavyweight bout. And Francis Ngannou is not left out of this antic. He also want to talk big, just like some other boxers out there who are fond of making such a bogus and loquacious statement while waiting, while preparing for any heavyweight bout. But for me, I think it's going to be a very difficult one for him, because Anthony Joshua will be hoping to build on his fine form, heading forward. He wouldn't want to, drop down at this point in time, because if he does, then it's going to wind back the hand of time or the hand of clock, where he's actually building up to possibly bounce back to reckoning after losing his heavyweight belt. So for me, I think the fight would definitely go as planned. But then the question is, does Francis Ngannou has what it takes to upset Joshua? I do not think so. Joshua as well has been training very massively. I saw a clips of his training regiment the other day. I was like, wow, is he about to face a lion? So I think Anthony Joshua would do much of the talk in the ring rather than off the ring.
All right, so keep our fingers crossed, on it, and see how it goes. We hope that Anthony Joshua, just like Mike has said, will do much of the talk, in the ring. A lot of expectation as well from Anthony Joshua. I think Joshua, of course, needs to get this done and dusted A win, just like I mentioned, in this one, will give him that edge of facing either Alexander Usyk or Tyson Fury this time around. And for the MMA fighter Francis Ngannou, I tell you, this will be a very big win for him if he gets this one done and dusted as it is. But let's keep our fingers crossed and see who get this one at the end of the day. Let's take a look at Formula One now. Formula One has rejected the American Adriatic team's bid to enter the sport in the next 2 years, but left the door open for admission from 2028. Adriatic entry had been approved by governing body, the FIA, but commercial right holders, Formula One, felt the proposal for entry in 2025 or 2026 was lacking. Formula One conducted analysis involving key stakeholders and decided an 11th team would not on its own add value. Formula One also does not believe the applicants would be a competitive participant. All right, at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from this break, we'll bring you the latest revolving around the world of football. Let's stay with us.
So now, this is when you're at the bench. And when you're
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
welcome back, Steve Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Let's take a look at the latest revolving round of what is sports, and this time we take a look at football at the moment. As the Nigerian Women Football League has officially adjusted the commencement dates for the second stanza of the 2023 and 2024 Premiership season, pushing it back by 2 weeks. In response to unforeseen circumstances, the Nigerian Women Football League has strategically adjusted the schedule, stating a modification to the highly anticipated resumption date for the second round. Initially set for Wednesday, January 31st, the new kickoff date is now scheduled for Wednesday, 14th February 2024, reflecting a 2-week postponement. Michael, I don't know what you make of this, the postponement of the Nigerian Women Football League. Well, if you ask me, I think it's just this climate we see things like this happen. You can't tell me that, of course, the Women League in the United States of America, of course, want to resume due to unforeseen circumstances, just like they mentioned. Of course, you see them come to say, well, postponing the league for 2 weeks before its resumption. I don't know what you make of the epileptic way of running the league in the country.
It's quite appalling, and for me, I think just the inconsistency of the fixed date for the Nigeria Premier Football Women League to start, I think it's quite appalling. Just like you said, you don't see these kind of things in a Senna climb, where league will go on break, and when they actually fix the date for the league to kickstart, suddenly we hear that courtesy of one challenges or the other, they will now further shift the date. As it stands right now, this 2-week gap, they've shifted it. We are not even certain. It might even get to that 14th. They now shift it again. So all this inconsistency doesn't help our league. Just imagine a team that possibly will be topping the league or topping the log right now in their own table, and they've gone on possibly 1 or 2 weeks break, and a date is fixed on when they will come back. Definitely, you know that those players will go back to camp. Every club, they will go back to camp to start massive preparation, and after they have trained a lot, anticipating that the league is possibly going to start, is that tomorrow or 3 days time, all of a sudden the management come to tell them that the league won't start again. What do you expect? The players will go back to party, and start enjoying themselves. When next they will hear that the league will resume, they won't take it serious, because the inconsistency is something that you can't actually hold firm. So I think for me, they should try to derive a means of trying to be very, very stable. These are things that we must not joke with, because this is a serious business we are talking about here. So if we truly want to improve our leagues in all fronts, especially the Women League, then we must be very, very consistent in the way and manner we plan our things, and the calendar also, so that at least all the clubs and players will definitely go back. If you take a look at your calendar, you see the date when you were supposed to resume, and the clubs that will be facing the date that you were supposed to play your game. It helps to inform the players, the coaching crew as well, the staff as well, to at least keep themselves in shape for what is to come. But then if they discover that the data is not sacrosanct, then it becomes a problem. So I truly think that we need to work out a means on how to be able to stabilize the date of our leagues, because if we don't, then the quality of the Women League will definitely drop, and it will be to our own disadvantage.
All right, so let's see how it goes. We hope that the league will resume in the set dates already. We don't hope to see to hear another postponement once again, maybe due to another unforeseen circumstances as well. We normally hear this as well in the Nigerian Premier Football League, especially when the league wants to resume. We hear, oh, please, we cannot resume at this point in time, maybe due to logistic reason. We have to bring out a lot of money. Just like this season, I heard the winner of the league will be going on with, I think, 100 million or 150 million, as it is. So a lot of things like this happen. But you take a look at, just like you mentioned, the Senna climbs. I tell you, you take a look at the Premier League as it stands now. They're already planning for the next season. Sure. This season, of course, hasn't even ended, and they're already planning. Immediately the Premier League ends, it doesn't take much. It doesn't even. I don't think it takes a month before you see the calendar release for the next season. So I think yes, we're trying to develop, we're developing, country when it has to do with football, and all of that. But I think we should try and see how we can as well, rub shoulders or probably put ourselves, the way we're seeing things, done in other climes as well. But let's say it goes, we hope that the league resume as they have said this time around. But see, let's take a look at the MPFL now as the technical advisor of Rivers United, Stanley Guma, has denied the rumor that the team is in crisis. Some players recently left the Rivers United base club due to the contract issue, but Guma has confirmed that they have a very good setup and welfare in the team. I don't know what you make of it. A lot of some journalists or some persons as well perceiving that there are a little bit of crisis in Rivers United. Don't forget, most of the players left due to the fact that the club, of course, was unable to renew their contracts, and all of that. And Eguma is saying there's no problem that some players, their contract, of course, got expired and they have to leave and all of that. That is, team is intact. But I don't know if you actually perceive any crisis in the team.
Of course, for me, I think there's no smoke without fire.
No fire without smoke.
No fire without smoke as well. Some time ago, where the Rivers United were about to embark on a away game when it has to do with the continental duty, we also had this kind of rumors that players were not willing to go out there because of the fact that they are being owed. At some point, we began to doubt if actually, they were going to travel outside for their continental game. But then, those rumors, at the end of it all, did not see the light of the day. We understand that the player went away and prosecuted their game and came back. I don't know whether they had to settle them at the dying minutes before they actually went out there. At this point in time, this news has also filtered. For me, I think in every rumor there must be an iota or an element of truth. And if some journalists have done their investigative journalism and come up with this kind of report out there, I think we should take it with a pinch of belief out there, because of course Stanley Eguma came up to refute that report. But then for me, you don't expect him to come and start washing his dirty linen in the public. He must also find a way to, play the defensive mechanism kind of thing by trying to defend the image of the club. So that is quite understandable. But then, if we've seen that some players have actually, left the club, the reason for them leaving is not, known to the public out there. And of course, you know that the media team of our various teams out here, their activities is always, if there's no unity, then you don't expect them to give out their best this season. And of course, they are still on the continental duty. I mean, these are some of the things that will help them, because if you are letting players go because of the fact that you are unable to renew their contract and some other issues, you are having issues with players, how then do you want to prosecute your game? How then do you want to finish very strong in the league this season? So I think they truly need to work on that angle. If actually what we are hearing, there is anything to go by, then Rivers United
games in the Premier League, and as well see how they can secure a continental sport before the season comes to an end. Let's take a look at other matters, as the Abia State government has set up a committee to develop a new plan to remodel the Imba FC Stadium to develop new markets in the city. This was reviewed by the Commissioner for Information, Prince K. At the State Federal Executive Council meeting. They said the government is planning to reshape Aba into a mega city, and revamping of the stadium is part of the plans and tertiary institution. The remodeling of the stadium and its environment, the expansion of the stadium to accommodate parking lots and other sporting facilities as well. All right, let's take a look at the African Cup of Nations at the moment, because we're hearing a whole lot at the moment. Super Eagles preparing for the heavyweight clash tomorrow against Angola, because everyone is saying it should be a must-win for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But here's a Pesero threatening the players, at the moment, telling them you have to make sure you control the level at which you use your phone. You also have to make sure that, of course, you don't entertain female visitors at the moment. You have to make sure you maintain coffee time and turn up early for meetings. You know, I don't know what you make of it. He said anyone, of course, who goes against this rule might be sent packing the camp.
Of course, it's more like reading a riot act against the players. And for me, this is...
Don't you think this might probably want to intimidate the players in one way or the other?
No. The players are professionals, and definitely they understand what the coach is talking about, because you know, at this point in time, this is a crucial stage of the Super Eagles heading, you know, into a very crucial game against the players as well. We have some other monetary incentives that they have also been promised, and even with latest phones out there, you know, that if they can actually beat Super Eagles, then they will be smiling to the bank, you know. So for me, with all these incentives for, you know, for the Angolan players, you don't expect Super Eagles to be, you know, partying around where we are heading for a major competition or a major game such as that of Angola. So for me, I think those rules, you know, must be maintained if we truly want to, you know, go far in a competition.
All right, sir. We hope that the boys, of course, will observe these rules by Joseph Pesero. But of course, Stanley Mwabali Michael should be fit at this point in time, because we don't have any other time.
We just hope so. Just like we were discussing yesterday, it really needs to
no
be
time
fit.
again.
No time again. But one thing, Kingsley, I think that sometimes this might be, you know, game plan. It might be a mindset, a mind game. You know, I've had a whole lot of coaches over there in Europe, you know, that are specialists when it has to do with the mind game. You know, Jose Mourinho is one of those coaches that always want to play the mind game. And I think Jose Mourinho, don't forget, he's a close ally of Jose Pizarro. Yep. Possibly he has been able to get one or two mind game tactics from Pizarro. And of course, it is what Jose Mourinho that even recommended Pizarro, you know, to this. Even if he's not fit, he's 90% fit. He should stand in between the stick, because Super Eagles backline is something that you know, we're lacking for a quite long time. Ever since Nyama left, I think Carl Ikeme, yes, came around and he did his best. He was very, very magnificent, but no thanks to leukemia, who actually caught his you know, involvement in the national team very short. Ever since then, we actually struggled to produce a world-class you know, goalkeeper that can be able to give us that edge. But this time, it looks as though Nwabali have come to be able to stabilize the defensive setup of Super Eagles. So for me, whether he's fit or not, my brother, he must start that day.
But this afternoon, don't forget, we got to report that Pesero is saying if Uzo doesn't get, Nwabali doesn't get fit, that he's okay with goalkeepers around. Franz Uzo and Nwabali is not fit. Who do you prefer, Uzo or Ojo?
Of course, first, looking at the statement of Jose Pizarro saying that he has confidence in all of his players, what do you expect him? I mean, goalkeepers rather. What do you expect him to say? As a national team coach, the quality of some of his players, try to, you know, segregate them as though they are not quality enough to be part and parcel of the team. No, he's been very, very professional with his duty. All his keeper that he took to the African Cup of Nations is equal to the 10. There are some qualities that some of them might be. Barcelona then, you know, where Carlos Puyol, you know, and Piqué combined, both Dani Alves, you know, they were very, very effective. So they were able to cover the lapses of Victor Valdez. And so Victor Valdez was seen as one of the best goalkeepers. But what happened when he was at Manchester United? I mean, they opened up, you know, everything, telling the world that Victor Valdez is not that such a great goalkeeper. So in all, I think Uzoho, if he starts tomorrow against Angola, I believe our defense line is also going to help him a lot by closing some of those lapses.
All right, sir. Let's see how it goes, of course. But let's talk about, you know, the setup. Pesero said he's not willing to change, you know, his game plan, despite the fact that the Angola side, of course, they're a high-scoring side. He insists of sticking with what, of course, he's been doing so far.
I totally agree with him. I mean, in football, you don't change a winning team. Not just in football, but in any game, in any game at all, you don't change your winning, teams. Neither do you change your, tactics out there. At this crucial stage, you don't expect Jose Pizarro to start twerking his, tactical, formation added to, a 4-3-3 formation so that will go in out in all attack. No, he should stick with what is working for him. The game plan and pattern that he has used from the first day of the game where we played against Equatorial Guinea. He also deployed it against Ivory Coast. He deployed it against Guinea, did so against Cameroon, and it all worked out for him. Is it at this crucial stage that you want him to tweak the formation or tweak the tactical plan? No. I think it will be very, very disastrous and risk-taking if he should change, from what is working for him right now. So, for me, if you ask me, I would totally agree with him. He should stick with what is working for him.
All right, let's also talk about, some of the players that haven't tested, the ball in this African Cup of Nations. One is Ahmed Musa. Another player, of course, is the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho. You talk about Terry Murphy as well. Paul Onachu, we've seen him, of course, coming in some couple of times. Mr. Pesero always use him, of course, to finish the game. And I don't know what you make of it. What do you make of the players, of course, that have not really gotten game time? You think, is there any need? Should Pesero, of course, make use of any of these players, in this particular encounter?
No. I think, like I said,
Ahmed Musa is getting to, this is going to be the 5th game, and no game time for him. 0 game time for Ahmed Musa in this time.
Yes, injury to one is injury to all. That is what they represent. And for me, like I said, whether Terry Murphy has been sitting on the bench, Ahmed Musa has been sitting on the bench, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that Super Eagles is getting the result. And at the end of it all, if they end up winning the African Cup of Nations, in years to come, their name also will be in the annal of history that these are the players that won the 2023 African Cup of Nations. It will never be erased because they are part and parcel of the squad, so we can't sacrifice the collective interest of the team in the altar of one man, maybe Ahmed Musa, so as to increase his caps for the Super Eagles. No.
For the Super Eagles of Nigeria in this African Cup of Nations quarterfinal, we hope they get through in this particular one. But Michael, let's take a trip to Europe now as we take a look at some matches we saw yesterday. It was 4-1 bashing of Chelsea in that particular encounter, and I don't know what you make of that particular defeat for Chelsea Football Club.
Well, for me, I'm not surprised because
and the thing is that they remain in 10th position. They win, they remain in 10th position. They lose, they still remain in 10th position.
I think they have something to do with 10, starting from last season. They have been hovering around 10, 11, 12 since last season. So for me, coming up against Liverpool, who is much more energized and much more determined from the first day they had of the shocker that, Klopp will be stepping down at the end of the season. Most of the players, they want to bid him a farewell in a good way. How do you do that? Is by making sure you win all your games so as you can be able to win the trophy, and that would be a fine way to say goodbye to Jurgen Klopp. So I expected Liverpool to dismantle Chelsea because Chelsea, since the start of this season and even last season, they've actually not been the Chelsea that people know. But for me, I think that the referee as well has some blame to take as well, because we had about 2 or 3 calls at the penalty calls against Liverpool that he should have awarded to Chelsea, which should have changed the whole dynamics of the game, but he didn't do that. So I think that actually also cost them, the game yesterday. But away from that, I think Liverpool actually played to their strength. They dictated the pace, controlled the game perfectly, and courtesy of that young man, Bradley, who also came on to replace, to take the position of Arnold, he did pretty well. 2 assists and 1 goal for such a young lad was very, very massive. It's a big one for Liverpool. Courtesy of that victory, they have actually extended their gap, with 5 points on the on the log right now. So I think it's a big win for them. But I think they will be meeting with Chelsea by the end of, you know, not the end of this month, in 3 weeks' time, in the final, in the FA Cup, the EFL Cup final at Wembley. So it was a big display from Liverpool.
Big display for Liverpool, but also was a big display for Haaland, for Manchester City, as they were able to beat Burnley, of course, in that encounter. Julian Alvarez, of course, putting up a very impressive encounter, I think, on his birthday.
Yes, great one for Julian Alvarez. Whenever Haaland is not there, he always pop up to deliver the goods. And fortunately enough, Haaland came